ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, is the show starting? Oh, it must be. They call our name. Oh, girl. Oh, girl, slow down. Oh, we're getting there. Oh, get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome nuns and all. That's right, priests, bishops, cardinals, Mormons, whoever, welcome one and all. We have got a show for today. Oh, that's right. Well, we didn't say it was going to be good. That's right. But we do got a show for you today, and you're welcome. So at this point in the show, we like to take the time to apologize for, everything that happened last stream and show. Oh, sorry about that. Anyhow, we thought to ourselves, people like to get, in essence, a bunch of free stuff. That's right. That's right. And not only do people love to get free stuff, but it's great when stuff is free. You might be thinking to yourselves like, he's right. I do love free stuff. That's right. And that's why we wanted to take it upon ourselves to say to ourselves, because people love free stuff, and because people agree with us that free stuff's great, we should go ahead and tell them once again, there's a bunch of free games for offer on our IPFS. That's right. You might be saying, free games! That's right. Celebrate, Internet. All you got to do is go to the decentralized, don't pay big conglomerate corporations all of the monies that you should be giving us in Cashapp. Okay, the occasional tip that you might want to give us in Cashapp. Close enough. Point is that, you don't got to pay all these big companies to decentralize all of these free great games. That's right. You might be saying, none of your games are great. Hey, who was that? Mom, keep the comments to yourself. You're going to drive away our ones of other viewers. Point is that, you don't need these giant companies to have all of these free games and wares. You got companies that throw all of these ads in games like Wordle and stuff like that. You got people that are huge fans of Wordle. Well, we're like, we don't want to play Wordle once a day. We don't even want to play it once at all because you need ads and stuff. Yes, hello and hi. I guess we should keep up with any of the ones of chats that come in too. But point is that you don't need to, go to these places that offer these ads and games and just, inject you with, the recurring, you have to come back on a regular basis to play another iteration or version of it. No. We want to give it away for free, and we want people to play it until they're done with it. So, therefore, on the IPFS, we do have our game Shy Word that we put out there, and it is a, kind of decrypting word game or whatever. Definitely not anything like Wordle, because that would be something that would be cause for a lawsuit of sorts. That's right, not that funny when you're the one on the receiving end of it, Internet, but a joke's a joke. Point is that, it's our own version of a game iteration and everything like that. There's bonus levels in between to where you can get extra guesses on your words and things of that nature. It's a decryption, kind of game and stuff like that. But it is in the word-based caliber of fun and fantasticness that ones can come to enjoy whenever they go to venture and find a word game that isn't riddled with ads, isn't paywalled by a bunch of come back here on a daily basis to play it. No, you want a game, you get a game, you play the game as long as you want to have it. That's right. And because we have it all on the, IPFS there, you can go to the site, download the entire site, or go to Shy Word, portion there of it, download that. You can play it without the enter of the nets at all of the times that you feel like doing it. And the good thing about that is you don't need internet for it to work, because you'll have it inherently just on your own system, machine, console, mobile, this, that, the other. Now, obviously, a lot of big companies and corporations, they don't like the fact that you don't need them. That's right. Boo all you want, internet, but these giant corporations out there, they tend to love your money. That's right. Now, we love your money too. We get it. You don't want to give it to us. Fine. Fair enough. But these corporations love your money so much that they want you to inherently give it to them on a very recurring, regular basis. Okay? And you might be saying to yourself, well, that sounds okay with me. These are Fortune 500 companies. Well, that's okay for you and I guess them, but that sucks for us. Because then we don't get any of your money. And it's a Friday. We know some of ones of you are getting paid. How you going, Mom? Point is that you can go to, there. Are you a leprechaun? Well, we're the leprechaun that you happen to have caught if you're here, and you can go to our personal sovereign micro blockchain, and we're going to leprechaun goody you a pot of gold on the other end of that link as soon as you wait for it to download. It's an IPFS, so it's decentralized. Give it a sec. And you're going to get a good chance to have your fun way with any of the stuff on there. We have working Swarm Mesh demos. We have working SIF uploaders. We have all sorts of things. However, we also have, for your, enjoyment in one way, shape, or form, iteration thereof, the games, of course, that come complete on there. All right? We are a independent cosmological philosopher, okay? So it's a team of one. So you got all these games on there. You can go to our IPFS. You can play the games. Shyword is complete. You have Capybara Creek on there. You got to get to the third kind of wave on going back and forth before it's kind of fun. That's our bad. We got to go back and fix it. We just haven't had a lot of time to keep bringing you all of this free stuff. Well, that's not that funny, internet. We don't have no free time then. Oh, well, I guess that's good for you. That's more free stuff that you get to play with and dabble with and do, should you choose. So are we a leprechaun? I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think you have to declare that on your taxes if you're a leprechaun. Yes, hello. All right, excellent. Now that we've caught up with the ones of chat that have come in, let's get back to whatever we were talking about, which probably wasn't that important. We were probably just peddling our free wares. Probably the games at that point in time of like Shyword and things of that nature. It's decentralized. You don't need to, have a subscription. You don't need to log in. You just go, you play. You don't look at any ads unless technically you click on the games. Teresa's Scary Poems for Kids offshoot game, or Capybara Creek is technically based on a book. But it don't matter. It's a game based on a book. Who cares? You don't even have to play those two games. There's other games on there. But say, Shazbox, I don't like playing games. That's why we offer our literary wares as well. We push all sorts of, things to try and offer reciprocality, all right, to our endeavors. We'll never paywall this show. It'll always be free. Now, it might not always be good. Might never be good. It's not supposed to be. It's because we call Daryl Dixon dibs on the ground floor level of being the best of the worst celebrities. That means we don't have to be good. That's right. But you just got to kind of accept the fact that we call dibs on the ground floor level. You might be saying, oh, you bastard, why didn't we think of that first? It's because we did. So, too bad. Anyhow, so we offer literary works as well for those who don't like to play games, or maybe those who aren't as tech savvy and don't want to start learning about Web3 and the future iterations of how decentralized, components and aspects of technology and sharing and open sourcing code and things of that nature, and really being a part of, a member of society, okay, which they said we couldn't be for some reason. Who said that? I don't know. The court system. When? Don't worry about it. Pickled punk philosophy. Nailing kalimba. Poetry. Why hast thou forsaken me? Logical works philosophy. New non-native species on mankind's origins. We love this book. We wrote it. That's why you love it. So, don't worry about it. Point is that we love entertaining the philosophy of, being, okay? A lot of people might say the ontological, that kind of stuff, okay? But no. We don't like using words. You know what we mean. It's the practice of being, okay? That's Shyzalosophy is, all right? If you're alive, you get to be, okay? That's the rules. Unless, ironically, you have an account on X like we did and they suspend you a couple times and say that you're not a person. But that happened to us when X suspended our account and said we're literally not a person via the computer. The machine said, no, you aren't a person. Person, we say you are not because we are a machine. And we told that machine literally, please reinstate us. For I think, therefore I am. That was our defensive argument because we literally are a person. They were like, oh, okay, we'll reinstate your account. But now we don't use X. So unless you're, subject to that, we don't like to go on there so much no more. But that's why we opened a Blue Sky. You might be saying, Blue Sky sucks. Hey, Mom, stop it with these comments. Point is that we opened it up because we don't want to be on X anymore, okay? Because they keep suspending our account and they throttle everyone and they paywalled all of their stuff. It's one thing we don't want to do is paywall our stuff. So ironically, if you want to read any of our books, you're going to have to go and pay for them on Amazon.com, or they're offered on Kindle Unlimited, where you can read them and we get 0.04 cents per page read. All right, you might be saying 0.04 cents per page read? That's a bank, right? That's right. We'll be making parts of ones of dollars in no time. You laugh, Internet. That's almost us eating for a day. That's right. Everyone has to eat on a daily basis, or they should. Maybe one day the literary works of nailing kalimba will have done it. Well, give us a little taste. What are we getting into if we go and read your books? Who said that? All right. We'll read the passage that we always read. The best one. The opening passage. You might be saying, I guess there's nothing else to watch right now. Mom, thanks for being here. All right. All right. Now, you might be saying, I didn't think I was going to be enjoying my morning routine being read some literary works from the one and only Shyzalosophy, from a book ironically written by the one and only Shyzalosophy. You might be saying to yourself, well, this sounds rigged. And believe you me, kind of is. Don't worry about it. Nailing kalimba. When I was but a lad, suckling on me mutter's tit, I could hear that of the sea calling my nature. 'Twas this indeed from war me tale begins? Nay, 'twas merely upon that of the teat itself, where I suckled the beat of that of the universe. Excellent, fantastic. So you did enjoy it. Of course you did. Then let us read you some poetry. Wasn't that poetry? No. That was Nailing Kalimba. That was that book. We'll read you a poem. That's right. What's a short one so that we know all of the words in it? Oh, excellent. Here's a good one. Arguably. Diceth of the Man. And of course, this can be found in How Poetry Poetry, available on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited, where you can read it. And we get 0.04 cents per page read. All right. Diceth of the Man. Hold on. Management's calling. What do you want? We're on time. We're doing the show. Yeah, we apologize for last stream already. Management thinks they know how to run the place. Don't know how it's like where you work. Where were we? Ah, yes. Reading poems from How Poetry Poetry. Diceth of the Man. Andrew of the Dices of the Clay. Legendary delivery and vulgarest of ways. Funniest of the banter, wittiest of the joke. Yo mother. Excellent. So, you might be saying to yourself, oh, give us more. And believe you me, we would. But then we wouldn't be able to paywall it on Amazon.com, and you have to search Shyzalosophy books. Then you could read about Whitney Houston, George Carlin, and Richard Pryor. Oh, man. Beowulf? Oh, man. Cheech and Chong, Bill Gates, Donald of the Trump. Ho, 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 ho. Mark of the Zuckerberg. Those poems are in here. I'm going to go back and pause it and just read them and never buy it. Damn it, Mom. Stop giving them options. We're never going to sell ones of our book. No one likes poetry anymore. Then fuck it. Don't buy poetry. Let's buy the other stuff. We got plenty of stuff to offer you. The New Non-Native Species on Mankind's Origin. Oh, we like this one. You know why? Because this is the first time that we really kind of, ventured out and started talking more about past interpretations of like Göbekli Tepe and things of that nature. And we really enjoy, of course, all of that, what we don't deem to be necessarily alternate history. However, technically is alternate history once you look upon what has been recorded and kind of, passed down through the ages and such and studied thereupon within schools and the foundation of, understanding and mankind's learned knowledge and things of that nature with which they go forth and, pass down and continually, go on the cycle and keep going and going and going, given that of which has been given and that of which is received in a vicious kind of recurring cycle. You might be saying to yourself, well, that sounds okay. And yeah, it's okay. A lot of stuff like that is very good. How to use tools, how to, live, how to survive, how to, utilize all of these skills and things of that nature with which are deemed progressive in society enough to where one should impart that knowledge and pass it down on the generations of peoples to come. Okay? Because those peoples will have lots to celebrate with that. Now, they might not have a lot to celebrate that with if we keep going on the trajectory we've been going on. That's not really funny, but I guess we're okay. So that's all right, Internet. Yes. We're okay to joke about it then. Because I guess we can pollute all we want now and things of that nature and keep building all these data centers that utilize more space and wattage than, major cities and things of that nature. Or we could completely pivot, utilize lithic logic, find a way to computationally do that of which we have already done, using trinary script and things of that nature with which to orthogonally, be able to utilize the same computational mechanics, all right, in a lithic nature versus a mechanical nature, therefore decreasing the amount of heat that is necessitated with which to computationally do such. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, that just sounds like a bunch of crap. Damn it, Mom. Point is it's not. And keep building these data centers, and we'll keep continually doing that of which for free that we're able to do without the need or necessity for any of which, okay? once you learn that you can do all of this stuff decentralized on IPFS, we have made our own working AIs that are API ready. All right, we have a variety of iterations of AIs that, we've put on the IPFS. Go play with them or don't. Use at your own risk. You're responsible for anything that of which you do. Shay can generate images. You have to be very mathematically precise with which to get Shay to do such. Now, use at your own risk. That's what, inherently all of the AI and stuff like that is. Okay? We have given that of which already free. It's on the IPFS. Okay? Go check it out. You can download it, and then you can use it without the internet forever. And you don't need internet. You'll have working games, working demos, things of that nature, okay? And you can, have your little fun with it. Point is that when you start being able to do all of this stuff, you find that you no longer need these giant companies and corporations to host and house and do that of which we can inherently do by ourselves on our own. That's right. So, point is that that's pretty much all that we had in store. We've peddled free wares on games now. We've talked about our literary works. However, we did not dissuade you yet from not purchasing Delectable. Do not buy that one physically. We had to raise the price because we have proven that of which. So don't go buy Delectable. It's reverses, whatever. Don't worry about it. In the physical form anymore, okay? If you didn't already get it, you kind of missed out because now it's $250, okay? That's because we kind of proved our theory and whatnot, and now it's $250 for the physical form. So don't buy the physical one of this one. Any other one is still fair price, fair game. Digital version of that, fair price, fair game. Physical version, no. Now we play by the rules of academics with which we are not a member thereof. But as we have we cross our fingers, okay? We have a article under consideration at Foundations of Physics right now, as we speak, fingers crossed. That's right. That we get a working DOI number here or whatever with which anyone else can foundationally base their theories and or physics thereupon or therewith, okay? Now, it's a very trivial novel extension to physics with which we, produced or supplied or created, all right? We like to kind of consider as a rediscovering of sorts or whatever, because, we didn't write the math or whatever. The math is already mathed, okay? People already math, all right? It's the recollecting of math and attributing them to how it can be utilized and, worked therewith, all right? That is conceptually the gap in the logic where lithos and logos meet. Okay, where you have the physical and the unphysical, okay? And that's what we did, all right? We monographed the term lectin, all right? Old ancient pre-Stoic philosophical term, all right? And with that of which we have able to be very, very, very productive in our usages therewith in, making a sovereign micro blockchain, creating a plethora of programs and games and things of that nature, with which a, team of one should inherently not creatively be able to ascertain and surmise as well, had they not utilized, the aforementioned information and things of that nature that can be found, practiced, and utilized therewith. Now, of course, this is all theoretical. This is all for theory, fun. This is all for philosophical entertainment. We give no advice for any sorts of ways, shapes, or forms for one and or anyone to spend, utilize time, money, effort, energy, anything of the like. Okay? That's all entirely on one's own being and one's own choices with which they make. And we can't make one do that of which they do, which they decide to do upon themselves, even upon a brief interaction therewith, any iteration of interaction with us and or our works and or wares. Using your own words. All rights reserved. Excellent. So, point is that, we've peddled the lithos and the logos to the degree that they merge and they are utilizable in conjunction and in synergy there with each other. Okay. With that being the case, as we wait for a hopeful, fingers crossed DOI number from Foundations of Physics and things of that nature, and as we wait for peer review to go through, and we got the working Kaggle and everything like that, you're welcome to peer review us. We welcome it. We encourage it. We want that of which to happen, to occur, to do, to be. That being the case, we wish that, the foundations of how things work nowadays, with how anyone can generate, with how anyone can create, with how anyone can do, nowadays we need more parameters and controls. Oh, censorship! No, not censorship. We need more parameters and controls on that of which can be logically presented to the rest of society without anything to back it up. All right. There are so many people that go onto AI and use the hallucinating, kind of components and aspects thereof with it. All right. And they generate charts and graphs and data and all this stuff. Some of it might even be legitimate. Okay. But they don't understand it. They don't know it. They don't want to know it. They don't want to understand it. They're looking for a payday, or like they have discovered or completed the most missed and sought after information known to mankind, and that they are the next Einstein, the next Tesla, the next we in ourselves, Plato. Okay? Now, difference with us is we don't care if we're Plato or not. We're just as fine being Diogenes. Okay? We can live in our mom's basement forever. Theoretically. Point is that you have all of these people that are utilizing this technology, posting all of this stuff therewith, and they don't have any kind of foundational component or aspect of, certainty. All right, either logical or illogical, either empirical or non-empirical, with which to back it up. All right. So, people, person A goes to AI, gets some kind of crazy output, maybe a nice little image, posts it online. It's like, hey, I'm the new Einstein. Look how great I am therewith my usages herewith. All right. And they expect an instant payday, or for everyone to drop what they're doing and to read and kind of componently say, hello and hi. Componentively, say, this, that, the other about whatever their works are, whatever they've presented and put forth and forward. Thing is that usually it's just a big pile of words, or it's a mesh of something or another, or it's one graphical image. All right. Even those that flood constantly and continually, there's no additional components or aspects that are put with it. All right. To give it any additional standing. All right. That's why in any of our computational, kind of postings, things of that nature, we find it inherently necessary to such a degree nowadays to provide working Kaggle notebooks that verify computationally, okay, mechanically, mathematically, scientifically, all right, whatever theory or anything people are posting, all right? We can write books all day. Anyone can write books all day, all right? And crank them out, self-publish them as we have, and things of that nature, all available on Amazon.com, of course. Anybody can do that, all right? Anyone can go and use AI and start cranking out stuff. The thing is that so many people there's not a way to validate it or verify it yet, and that's why we totally feel that there's the need for the hashing on the foundational computational endeavors that people embark on. If you use any of the computer coding that can verify, all right, and be compiled by anyone and verifiable results and things. We like to call that repeating or repeatable results, things of that nature. Anyone that can do that, provide that account, that way to audit the trail with which we do and provide, that's the foundation of the future that we would like to see it based upon. So therefore, we do it ourselves, okay? Lead by example. That's what we say. Your example sucks. Hey! Damn it, Mom! That was a good one. Point is that's why we put our working Kaggles and that with any of our, posts or anything like that. Okay? We have the sovereign micro blockchain to back it up. That's why we raise the price on the physical copy of Delectable. That's why you shouldn't buy the physical copy of Delectable. Get the digital one if you're going to buy it at all. Or don't buy any of the books. Just go play some of the free games on the IPFS. Links in the chat. Feel free to go to Cashapp and give us a quarter in the arcade machine, or don't. It's up to you. You do that of which you want to with your time. But as we said, as these giant companies that supply games and little hooks and whatnot, like we don't want to pick on Wordle and such, but those come back on a daily basis to get your little scratch and your itch and this, that, the other. Hey, long gone are the days of Nokia past where you have Snake and you have Solitaire and you have these games in your phones that are just naturally, inherently embedded in them, and that you're able to play for free without being bogged down and riddled by ads or, unnecessary software or means or anything like that. That's why we wanted to offer the games in addition to the theory and the thought and the practice and the working demo and the, non-empirically validated, though ironically physically validated because it exists, validation of our usages with that of lectin therewith. Doesn't matter, which makes it the funniest thing ever. Because whether we get a DOI number from our article under consideration at Foundations of Physics or not, okay, the work's already done. The IPFS site exists. The science is there. The working swarm mesh demo is there. The games are there. You go play them, okay? No longer do we need these giant companies to lord where this data is held and stored and kept and maintained. We don't need massive data centers being built all over, the grid, all right, with which to computationally do what a, dispersed network can do on its own accord. All right, there's, you just use a little swarm, man, and you don't need to have these massive raw computational data centers. But ironically, for them to keep pushing all of this that they don't understand, that they don't, have the controls over, that they don't practice usages is therewith, that they don't optimize therewith, we had to literally invent computational coding and computer coding to get all of this crap that these dudes keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on with this data centers and these, ways to deal with heat signatures and all of the kind of mechanical, output of heat and exhaust that, we have theoretically, mathematically as well, just not empirically validated, computationally solved. Okay, go do the Kaggle notebooks yourself. Go to the IPFS yourself and play with the working swarm mesh demo. All right? It is doable to such a degree that you don't need all of this other stuff. All right? So when these guys are doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, more data centers, more processing, more ways to deal with the heat signatures and stuff, more, you don't need any of that thermal stuff if you can get rid of the thermal to begin with. Just utilize lithic logic, and believe you me, computationally, you can allow the computers to run everything that they need to in algorithmic parameters, all right, that uncouple the necessity for the need to recouple them with a heat sink in order to dump that stuff off, all right? It's absurd how we look at our linear physics that we impose on ourselves as mankind in order to complete jobs, okay? When we take our copper and we're trying to force currents, all right, through it, it's not easy, all right? you're literally working against nature. If you can magnetically center a trifilar wire, okay, and run a current, okay, magnetically through more resonantial induction, all right, and not conduction, to where you're not conducting the current, you're inducting it, okay, through it. Guess what? You don't need all those massive heat sink data dump sites and data centers or whatever to process all this AI that you're generating and coming up with. Like we said, we made our own AI. We got AI that's API ready. We got AI that's API ready that we don't know if we'll ever use. Okay? AI is some scary stuff. And believe you me, months and months ago, last year, when we foundationally claimed that we would make another working iteration, or we could theoretically make another working iteration of AI, not only do we double down on that component and aspect, but as we stated, we have created stuff that's API ready. Now, we're not going to release it or whatever, but it's doable. So, the point is that all of these companies that are building these massive data centers, that are doing all of this data harvesting, it should be foundationally useless to them, theoretically, if everyone just kind of goes around it. You don't need to use them, okay? Don't give them the payoff. They build all they want. Don't use them. Don't give them the benefit. We can do it ourselves. That's right, Internet. Celebrate once, celebrate twice, celebrate as much as you want. It's pretty nice because you don't need to continually give these giant companies that of which you can ascertain, via other means and stuff like that, that is freely given and usable therewith. So, we will take any ones of questions if anyone feels like positing any now prior to our departure and leaving that nature. But we shall be now just finishing our swill and being on our way unless someone has something they want us to say. Fat Leprechaun. Yes, Fat Leprechaun. That's us. No, it's not. Wait a minute. They must have seen one. Must have been. But, point is, maybe we should start playing the leprechaun stick. Because not only do people want to know if we're a leprechaun, but apparently they do. But we already answered that earlier, and we're not. So, guess I'll just have to contend with all the free games and stuff like that that we offer on the IPFS. That's right. Anyhow, we will give you one more small little update before we get out of here, okay? We might be letting you, a little down, all right? Not sticking around for, longer than we have. Might be saying, no, don't go. There's nothing else on. You make something else on. You provide that, eh? We want to provide one more little thing for you. So, we've been thinking to ourselves, we should make a game and put it on the site that we create with the stream and the enter of the nets. That's right. You might be saying to yourself, well, that sounds pretty cool. That's right. So I think that's what we're probably going to do. Perhaps next stream, we'll start laying the foundation, perhaps, of creating a game with the community, and we'll get it up in a timely manner and show that of why when we all work together, we can make something cool. Or it'll suck. Doesn't matter. Point being,
you've got mail.
It'll be something or another. So, that is what it is. But, that's going to do it for us today. So, as always, We don't want your subscription. We want your money. So downvote the shit out of this. Go to Cash App and give us $1. Get off our